Never combine olive oil with these 7 foods, it could cost you your life. Imagine this. You've been using olive oil for years, drizzling it over salads, cooking with it, even adding it to your favorite meals, thinking you're making the healthiest choice. After all, olive oil is known for its heart protective benefits, its anti-inflammatory properties, and its ability to support digestion. But what if I told you that some of the ways you're using olive oil could actually be harming your body? Welcome to Healthy Horizons, where we uncover the truth about food, health, and how to live your best life. Today, we're diving into one of the most misunderstood health mistakes, combining olive oil with the wrong foods. This isn't just about minor digestive discomfort. The wrong pairings can lead to blood sugar spikes, heart disease, inflammation, and even long-term damage to your liver and metabolism. And the worst part? Most people have no idea. I know many of you watching this care deeply about your health. You want to eat better, feel stronger, and avoid chronic illnesses. Maybe you've struggled with digestion issues, unexpected weight gain, or fluctuating blood sugar levels. Maybe you're someone who follows a Mediterranean diet, believing that olive oil is the key to longevity. Or perhaps you're just trying to make better food choices. But the constant flood of health advice online has left you confused about what's truly good for you. If that sounds familiar, then you're in the right place. Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm about to reveal 7 food combinations that can turn olive oil from a superfood into a hidden health risk. Some of these might surprise you, and chances are, you've been making at least one of these mistakes without realizing it. But don't worry, I won't just tell you what to avoid. I'll also share the best ways to use olive oil to maximize its health benefits while protecting your body from unnecessary harm. Are you ready? Let's get started. Olive oil and high-carb foods, the blood sugar trap. Now, let's talk about a mistake that so many health-conscious people make without realizing the consequences: combining olive oil with high-carb foods like white bread, pasta, or even certain types of rice. It seems harmless, right? After all, Mediterranean cuisine is full of dishes that pair olive oil with bread or pasta. But here's what's really happening inside your body. When you eat carbohydrates, your body quickly breaks them down into sugar, spiking your blood glucose levels. This is natural, but the problem starts when olive oil is added into the mix. While olive oil contains healthy fats that slow down digestion, it also prolongs the time your body takes to process carbs, leading to erratic blood sugar fluctuations. At first, you might feel a quick boost of energy, but soon after, you experience an energy crash, leaving you fatigued, hungry, and craving more sugar. Over time, these constant spikes and crashes increase the risk of insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, and even type 2 diabetes. I've seen this pattern so many times in my years of practice. Patients come in feeling constantly tired, struggling with weight gain, and unsure why their health is declining despite eating healthy meals. One of them, Laura, a 48-year-old woman, used to love making classic Italian dishes: pasta drizzled with olive oil, garlic bread dipped in olive oil. It all seemed fine until she started noticing sudden blood sugar crashes, unexplained weight gain, and extreme fatigue. When she finally got tested, her doctor diagnosed her with pre-diabetes. She was shocked. How could a diet full of olive oil, which she thought was healthy, lead to this? The key here is balance. Instead of pairing olive oil with refined carbs, try combining it with fiber-rich foods that slow down sugar absorption. Whole grain pasta, quinoa, or vegetables are much better choices because they prevent blood sugar from spiking too quickly. And if you love dipping bread in olive oil, switch to whole grain or sourdough bread, which has a lower glycemic index and won't send your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. The next mistake might be even more surprising, especially if you love crispy, fried foods. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal could change the way you cook forever. Olive oil and fried foods, the hidden danger in your pan. Now, let's move on to something that might surprise you: frying with olive oil. I know, olive oil has a reputation for being one of the healthiest oils out there. So naturally, many people assume that using it for frying is a better choice. You might even be one of them, believing that deep frying fish, potatoes, or even vegetables in olive oil is a healthier alternative to using other oils. But here's the truth. High heat changes everything. When olive oil is heated beyond its smoke point, around 375 degrees Fahrenheit, 190 degrees Celsius, for extra virgin olive oil, its healthy fats start to break down, releasing toxic compounds. These compounds include aldehydes and trans fats, which are directly linked to inflammation, heart disease, and even an increased risk of cancer. What started as a heart-healthy meal can quickly turn into a source of harmful toxins. All because of excessive heat. I once had a patient named Pablo, a 63-year-old man who prided himself on his homemade meals. He always fried his fish in olive oil, thinking he was making the healthiest choice. But over the years, he started experiencing chest pain, shortness of breath, and persistent fatigue. When he finally went for a checkup, doctors found early signs of ischemic heart disease, a condition caused by poor circulation to the heart. He was shocked. How could someone who cooked with healthy olive oil be at risk for heart disease? But when we looked deeper, the problem became clear. He had been unknowingly damaging his heart by overheating olive oil every time he cooked. So, what's the solution? The good news is, you don't have to give up olive oil. You just need to use it the right way. Instead of frying, try baking, roasting, or steaming your food. And if you absolutely must use olive oil in a hot dish, add it at the end of cooking, when the heat is lower, to preserve its nutrients. You'll still get the rich flavor and health benefits without the dangerous byproducts. Now, what if I told you that another common mistake isn't about how you cook with olive oil, but what you eat it with? That's right. The next food on our list is something most people don't even think twice about: processed meats. But the combination of olive oil and processed meats could be doing serious harm to your body. Let's talk about why. Olive oil and processed meats, the dangerous duo you should avoid. Now, let's talk about a food that many people love but rarely question: processed meats. Think about it: bacon sizzling in a pan, sausages grilling on the barbecue, or a juicy hot dog topped with mustard. These foods have become a staple in many diets. And I get it. They're convenient, flavorful, and let's be honest, they taste good. And if you drizzle them with a little olive oil, it feels like you're making them healthier, right? Unfortunately, that couldn't be further from the truth. Processed meats like bacon, sausages, and deli cuts are packed with preservatives, nitrates, and sodium, all of which are harmful to the body. But when these processed meats are combined with olive oil, something even worse happens. The fats in olive oil react with the nitrates and chemical additives in processed meats, forming carcinogenic compounds, substances that have been directly linked to an increased risk of colon cancer and cardiovascular disease. I remember a patient of mine, Richard, a 62-year-old barbecue lover from Australia. Every weekend, he'd fire up the grill, throw on some sausages, and drizzle them with olive oil, believing he was making a healthier version of his favorite meal. He had always been in good shape, but over time, he started noticing digestive problems, bloating, and unexplained fatigue. When he finally went in for a checkup, his tests revealed early-stage colon cancer. He was stunned. He had always thought olive oil was protecting his health, not contributing to a disease. The reality is, no amount of olive oil can counteract the dangers of heavily processed meats. If you want to truly protect your body, reducing or eliminating processed meats from your diet is one of the best steps you can take. Instead of reaching for sausages or bacon, opt for lean proteins like chicken, turkey, or plant-based alternatives like lentils and beans. These options pair beautifully with olive oil without the harmful chemical reactions that processed meats create. Now, if you think processed meats are bad, wait until you hear about what happens when olive oil meets high-fat dairy. You might love a creamy pasta or rich cheese platter with a drizzle of olive oil. But this combination is not as healthy as it seems. Let's break it down. Olive oil and high-fat dairy, the heavy combo that weighs you down. Let's move on to a combination that often goes unnoticed: olive oil and high-fat dairy products. Think about creamy Alfredo pasta, melted cheese drizzled with olive oil, or even a rich, buttery sauce mixed with this so-called liquid gold. It sounds indulgent, maybe even gourmet, but here's the problem. When olive oil meets high-fat dairy, your digestion slows down dramatically, leading to bloating, heartburn, and long-term health issues that most people don't see coming. You see, olive oil is a monounsaturated fat, which means it's easy for your body to break down and absorb. But heavy dairy products, things like cream, butter, and full-fat cheese, contain saturated fats, which require a completely different digestive process. When these two types of fats mix together in your stomach, they overload your digestive system, making it work harder than it should. This can lead to acid reflux, inflammation, and an increase in cholesterol levels, raising your risk of heart disease over time. I had a patient named Patrick, a 48-year-old chef who prided himself on making rich, creamy dishes. He loved whipping up buttery pasta sauces and finishing them off with a generous pour of olive oil. At first, he didn't think much of it, but after a few months, he started experiencing frequent bloating, stomach pain, and severe heartburn. He brushed it off, thinking it was just stress or eating too fast. But when his symptoms got worse, he finally saw a doctor, and that's when he was diagnosed with gastritis. His stomach lining had been inflamed for months, all because his body couldn't properly process the heavy mix of fats he was consuming. The good news is, you don't have to give up dairy entirely. The key is choosing the right type of dairy to pair with olive oil. Instead of heavy cream or butter, opt for lighter dairy options like Greek yogurt, mozzarella, or ricotta cheese, which are easier to digest. You can also swap out cream-based sauces for olive oil-based dressings, using ingredients like lemon juice, herbs, and garlic to add flavor without overwhelming your stomach. Now, what if I told you that one of the biggest mistakes people make with olive oil has nothing to do with fats at all? In fact, it's something hiding in your kitchen right now: sodium-packed canned foods. Let's talk about why this pairing could be doing serious damage to your heart and overall health. Olive oil and high-sodium canned foods, a silent threat to your heart. Now, let's talk about something that's in almost every kitchen: canned foods. They're convenient, affordable, and seem like a great way to add vegetables, beans, or fish to your diet. And if you drizzle some olive oil over them, it feels like you're making a simple meal even healthier. But what if I told you that this seemingly harmless habit could be putting your heart at risk? Here's why. Most canned foods, especially things like canned beans, vegetables, soups, and even fish, are loaded with sodium, which is used as a preservative to extend shelf life. Sodium on its own can already be a problem if consumed in excess. But when paired with olive oil, things take a dangerous turn. Olive oil is a fat, and when combined with a high-sodium food, your blood vessels can become strained, leading to high blood pressure, water retention, and even increased risk of stroke or heart disease over time. I once worked with a patient named Anna, a 50-year-old woman who always tried to eat healthy. She loved adding olive oil to her canned chickpeas and vegetables, thinking she was making a nutritious meal. But over time, she started experiencing frequent headaches, dizziness, and swelling in her legs. At first, she thought it was just stress. But after a routine checkup, her doctor diagnosed her with hypertension, high blood pressure. She was shocked. She wasn't eating fast food. She wasn't adding extra salt to her meals. So what was causing the problem? The answer was hiding in her canned foods. The sodium overload, combined with the fat from olive oil, had been quietly raising her blood pressure for years. So, what's the solution? If you rely on canned foods, always look for low sodium or no salt added options. Even better, rinse canned beans and vegetables under water before using them to remove excess salt. And instead of relying on processed foods, try using fresh or frozen vegetables, which contain far less sodium and allow you to control the seasoning yourself. That way, you can still enjoy the health benefits of olive oil without the hidden risks. Now, if you think sodium is bad, wait until you hear what happens when olive oil is combined with alcohol. You might enjoy a glass of wine with your meals, but this pairing could be doing far more damage to your body than you realize. Let's dive into why olive oil and alcohol, a hidden threat to your liver. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you: alcohol and olive oil. Imagine a cozy evening, a glass of wine in one hand, and a plate of Mediterranean appetizers drizzled with olive oil in front of you. It feels like the perfect combination, right? After all, both olive oil and red wine are praised for their health benefits. But here's what most people don't realize: when consumed together, they can place a dangerous burden on your liver. Let me explain. Both olive oil and alcohol require processing in the liver. Olive oil, being a fat, needs to be metabolized for digestion, while alcohol demands immediate attention from your liver to break it down and remove toxins. When both enter your system at the same time, your liver is forced to work overtime, prioritizing the alcohol first while slowing down fat metabolism. Over time, this can lead to fat accumulation in the liver, inflammation, and even early stages of liver disease. I had a patient named Maria, a 37-year-old woman who loved social gatherings. She would often enjoy a glass of wine with her tapas, cheeses, olives, and bread soaked in olive oil. It seemed like the perfect, sophisticated meal, but after months of persistent fatigue, bloating, and occasional nausea, she finally went to see a doctor. The diagnosis? Fatty liver disease. She was shocked. She wasn't a heavy drinker. She ate well. She exercised. So how did this happen? The truth was in her diet. The constant combination of alcohol and olive oil had been overloading her liver without her realizing it. So, does this mean you should never drink alcohol if you eat olive oil? Not necessarily. The key is moderation and timing. If you do drink, avoid consuming large amounts of olive oil at the same time. Instead, pair alcohol with lean proteins and fiber-rich vegetables to help your liver process everything more efficiently. And most importantly, listen to your body. If you're feeling sluggish or bloated after meals with alcohol and olive oil, it might be time to rethink your choices. Now, if you think that's bad, wait until you hear about the biggest mistake of them all. A mistake that affects not just your liver or your heart, but your entire metabolic system. That's right, we're talking about olive oil and refined sugar. This combination is far more dangerous than most people realize, and it's hiding in some of the most common foods you eat. Let's break it down. Olive oil and refined sugar, the silent trigger for weight gain and disease. Now, we've arrived at perhaps the most dangerous combination of them all: olive oil and refined sugar. You might be thinking, wait, who even mixes olive oil with sugar? But the truth is, this combination is hiding in places you least expect: baked goods, salad dressings, marinades, and even so-called healthy snacks that use olive oil but are loaded with added sugars. And if you've ever enjoyed a sweet pastry made with olive oil, thinking it was a healthier alternative, you're going to want to hear this. Here's the problem: olive oil is a fat, and refined sugar is a simple carbohydrate. When you consume them together, they create a metabolic disaster. The sugar causes a rapid spike in blood glucose, which signals your body to release a surge of insulin. At the same time, the fat from the olive oil slows down digestion, meaning your body takes longer to clear that sugar from your bloodstream. The result? Unstable blood sugar levels, increased fat storage, and a higher risk of insulin resistance. I had a patient, Alejandro, a 38-year-old man from Mexico, who loved baking. He often made olive oil-based cakes and pastries, believing they were a healthier alternative to butter-based desserts. But after months of unexplained fatigue, weight gain, and intense sugar cravings, he finally got tested. The results? Pre-diabetes. His body was struggling to process the constant combination of sugar and fat, and it had pushed his metabolism to its limit. So, what's the solution? First, be mindful of hidden sugars. Many packaged foods, even those marketed as healthy, contain both olive oil and refined sugar. Always check the labels. If you love baking, consider swapping out refined sugar for natural alternatives like honey, maple syrup, or stevia, which have a lower impact on blood sugar. And most importantly, pair olive oil with nutrient-dense foods like vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, rather than simple sugars that throw your metabolism off balance. Now that we've gone through the 7 worst food combinations with olive oil, you might be wondering, what should you do next? How can you make sure you're using olive oil in a way that enhances your health rather than harming it? Let's wrap things up with some final key takeaways. Conclusion: how to use olive oil the right way. Now that we've uncovered the 7 worst food combinations with olive oil, I hope you're walking away with a new perspective on this so-called superfood. Yes, olive oil is one of the healthiest oils you can use. But as we've seen today, what you pair it with makes all the difference. The wrong combinations can lead to blood sugar spikes, heart problems, digestive issues, and even long-term damage to your liver and metabolism. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up olive oil to protect your health. Instead, the key is using it wisely. Stick to low-heat cooking. Pair it with fiber-rich foods. And avoid mixing it with processed meats, heavy dairy, or refined sugars. If you make these simple changes, you'll not only enjoy the benefits of olive oil, but also protect your body from unnecessary harm. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you been making any of these mistakes? Or do you have a favorite healthy way to use olive oil? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Healthy Horizons for more eye-opening health tips and nutrition advice. We're building a community of people who want to take control of their health. And I'd love for you to be part of it. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.